Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today it's going to be a different video. It's going to be a little bit different than my normal videos. I'm going to be doing a decluttering video. This is my very first decluttering, and I'm planning on doing a whole bunch of these with every makeup category because I do have like so much makeup. So I want to share with you guys what I have and stuff I want to get rid of to let you guys know what products are really worth buying. So if you want to see what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to get rid of, then just keep on watching. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be decluttering my bronzers, and I have drugstore bronzers and I have high-end bronzers. So this is my collection of bronzers. I have way too many bronzers. Okay, so I have a mixture of bronzers and contour shades, and usually I like to keep my bronzers in this little thing I got from Amazon. And there's room 9 bronzers in here, or whatever type of compacts you guys want to keep in here. And then the rest that don't fit, I just put in this clear bin that I literally just got from Walmart. I just stack them like that. The stuff I'm gonna keep, I'm going to be setting in this drawer, and then what I don't want to keep, I'm just going to be putting aside. So I'm just going to start off randomly, no like specific order or anything like that. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with this NYX matte bronzer, and this is in the shade Deep Tan, and this is what the bronzer looks like. This is a matte bronzer, and this is what the bronzer looks like. It has like an orange undertone. It is very, very soft and pigmented. Alright, so this is the Bobbi Brown, and this is the bronzing powder in the shade Golden Light 1. And this is what the product looks like. This is like the perfect bronzer for like a contour as well. It's very, very light, and I really love the formula on this bronzer, so I am going to be keeping this Bobbi Brown bronzer. The next one I want to talk about is actually a bronzer that's actually discontinued, and this is by Smashbox. This is the Suntan Matte Bronzer, and this is the Bronze Light Skin Perfecting Bronzer. This honestly is a really nice bronzer. I don't know why Smashbox discontinued this. It actually like just twists off. And this powder is so creamy and buttery again. This is like the perfect sun-kissed bronzer for all over the face. Any skin tone can honestly use this bronzer. I wouldn't recommend like the very, very, very fair, because it is like super, it can tend to get a little orangey. But this is such a great formula. If you guys do see this around, I highly recommend checking them out, because this is like a staple. It's really, really nice. So I am going to be keeping this one. The next one I want to talk about is this NYC Color Wheel Mosaic Face Powder, and this is in the color 724A All Over Bronze Glow. And honestly, I got this because I was looking for like affordable bronzers, but I haven't seen myself, or actually noticed myself, gravitating for this. I just don't know how I feel about these light colors in here. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't grab this a lot, so I am going to be actually putting this in the no-goes. About is this Hourglass, and it's in the shade Ambient Luminous Bronze Light, and this is what the bronzer looks like. This is what the packaging looks like. It is so pretty. Sorry, mine says like super dirty, but this bronzer is like my ultimate ride or die bronzer. This is like one of my ride or dies. The formula on this bronzer is so beautiful. I highly recommend these bronzers. The ambient light, these are the ambient lighting bronzer bronzers, and I highly recommend these bronzers to anyone because they're so lightweight and they give such a beautiful finish to the complexion. I love this, and this swirl just makes it like so perfect to the skin, and I'm obsessed with the formula and the actual product, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this one. Next one is the MAC bronzing powder, and this is actually in the color Refined Golden, and I actually picked this up a couple months ago because I Love Sada talk about this, and I love this freaking bronzer. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell, but this bronzer actually has some glitter in it. So as you can tell, there's the glitter right there, and it is so beautiful on the skin. I do have to say that you have to have like a very like suntan color to wear this, or if you don't, then I would just like do a very light hand for this because this is super dark. As you guys can tell, it is super dark, so you have to have a very light hand, but it is made as a bronzing powder, so it's super lightweight, and the formula of these bronzing powders are beautiful. The next one is another MAC bronzer, and this is the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural, and this is in the shade, obviously, Give Me Sun, and this is a super popular bronzer that honestly I always find myself just going back to this when I don't know what bronzer to use. This is what it looks like. It's very creamy and super blendable. This is very orangey, so you have to be very careful how you apply this because you can look very orange after applying this, so you have to have very light hand. But I love this powder, honestly. Like, it's such a great finish. A lot of people use it, and there's a reason why, because it is really great. So if you guys haven't checked Give Me Sun, I highly recommend you doing so. My last MAC bronzer I want to talk about is actually a mineralized skin finish. This is the new packaging. This is the old packaging. So this is in the shade Give Me Sun, but this one is in the shade Medium Deep. And this is like a setting powder, but I like to use this as a bronzer from time to time. And this is what it looks like. They kind of look like baked bronzers, which have like a natural finish to them. They're so freaking pretty, but these two are completely different in color, as you can tell. One of them is a lot darker, obviously Give Me Sun. This one's a lot lighter, and again, this is in the color Medium Deep. So this is what Medium Deep looks like. This is a very natural finish bronzer, airbrushed. Highly recommend this one. It's so nice, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. The next one is another high-end bronzer, and this is the Urban Decay Beached Bronzer in the color Bronzed. And this came out a while ago. I love the packaging Urban Decay did with this. So summery, so beachy, very thin, very compact. So I really liked this concept they did. This is another like very warm orangey color as a bronzer. It is really nice. It's not as orangey as Give Me Sun, but I highly recommend this one if you think Give Me Sun is a little bit too dark. Highly recommend checking this out. These are super blendable. They're very creamy as well. I'm only going to be keeping this because the few times that I have used it, I have really liked how it applies and the longevity of it as well. Jumping back to drugstore, this is a NYX Cheek Contour Duo Palette, and this is in the color 01. It actually comes with a highlighter and a bronzer and like a bronzer contour shade. This contour slash bronzer shade is actually really nice. It's like the perfect contour color for the cheekbones. It's a very affordable palette, and it's really great because it comes with two items. It comes with the highlighter and the bronzer. The packaging is really cute. It has like these rhinestones in them. I actually don't find myself picking this up as often as I wish I did, but it is a great product. I'm actually not going to keep it because I have way too many, so I'm gonna actually give it away. Our collection has like these contour sculptor shades, and this is in the shade Fiji. This is one of them, and this is what it looks like. It does have some kind of like sheen to it, glitter, but the glitter honestly doesn't show up on the face. I love this for like all over the face. It's such a nice color, not glittery at all, so you're not gonna have like a cheek full of glitter. So soft and creamy. They're super pigmented. I highly recommend checking this out if you're like a beginner and want to start off with like learning how to contour. This is such a great shade. So yeah, I love this and I'm definitely gonna keep this. My last MAC product is this new MAC. This is Studio Sculpt Defining Bronzing Powder. And this is in the shade Delphic. This is, I believe this is a limited edition item. This is the Fruity Juicy collection that MAC recently came out with. And honestly, this bronzer is amazing. I thought that I really didn't need it, but then when I picked it up and I used it at home, I definitely knew why I picked it up. This packaging and like this product demonstration is so beautiful, super unique, with that line across, and it has such a beautiful color to it. It is like a very sheeny bronzer, so it's gonna give you like a very natural look all over the face. You guys can get your hands on this. I so highly recommend you guys doing it because honestly they did such a great job, and this is honestly the one I've been picking up the most. Alright, so this next one is the Makeup Forever Pro Dual Sculpting, and this is the one that has the highlighter and the bronzer in it, and this is in the I have this in the color 02. This is what it looks like. It does, like I said, have the highlighter and the bronzer. The bronzer, in my opinion, you have to really dig and like put your brush a lot of times in it to get some kind of color payoff. I don't think you guys really need necessarily like absolutely need this. Since I already own it, I am gonna just be keeping it. Is another Makeup Forever, and this is the Pro Fusion bronzer, and this is kind of like the other one but just the bronzer in the pan, not the highlighter. And this one I have in 30M. So you have to really put your brush into there to kind of like get the powder. I've heard this powder is actually waterproof. If you do get some product, the payoff and consistency this bronzer gives you is beautiful. That is the only good thing about it. The packaging is so nice. But yeah, since I already own it, I am going to be keeping it, but I don't really recommend you guys going out and purchasing this. The next two things I'm going to talk about are stick contour shades, and they're both from the drugstore. So the first one is from Jordana, and the second one is from Wet n Wild. Are really both super pigmented, but I feel like the Wet n Wild, the blendability of the Wet n Wild one is just so beautiful. It's very long lasting all day. This one kind of like wears out throughout the day. The Jordana one, it is the cheaper one, do the job. They're both really good. I have the Jordana one in medium, and then I have the Wet n Wild one in the shade 806. Where's my walnut? Like I said, they're really affordable, and I suggest you picking them up if you guys are into like cream contouring. They're super nice. So I'm gonna be keeping them both because they're just so cheap, so they're just worth keeping. So yeah. The next one I want to talk about is the Benefit Hoola Bronzer, and this is a staple for me. This is like a powder that I always use on a daily. I actually like to use this for contouring and bronzing. It's super matte, and I love the payoff and the longevity of the bronzer as well. They're super creamy, and if you have never used Hoola, then you have to get your hands on Hoola. The next one I want to talk about is this e.l.f. Golden Bronzer, and honestly, like ever since I got this, I actually don't find myself using this at all because most of the colors in here, this is more like a highlight powder because the colors are super light, as you can tell, and this gold color is definitely not a bronzer. This one right over here, I never go for this. I wish they would have made this palette a little bit dark on the darker side. It would have been a lot better, but like I said, the colors in here are way too light for this to be a bronzer, so I'm definitely gonna have to give this up. Next, I have two of Too Faced's bronzers, and one of them is in the shade Chocolate Soleil and the other one is in the color Sun Bunny. This is what these babies look like. This is a very matte chocolatey bronzer. This one smells like chocolate, which I am obsessed with. This is actually a staple in my collection. And then this one is kind of like a goldeny bronzy shimmery bronzer. It's really beautiful if you mix both of these together. Formula on these bronzers are so beautiful. They're super worth the money. I know these can be very expensive. But yeah, out of all the bronzers, if you guys are just like trying out and want like a really good high-end bronzer, I would say just pick up the Too Faced ones because they're gonna give you what you want, and they're so creamy and buttery and they last all day. So these are definitely staying in my collection. All right, this one right over here, this little baby, this is actually a Makeup Forever eyeshadow, and I use this for contouring. This is like the perfect deep brown dark chocolate color for like contouring. I do not use this for bronzing at all because it is super dark. I cannot take this color out of this pan, so I do not know what color this is in, but I'm gonna try to find out for you guys because honestly, like, this is such a great color for contouring the cheekbones, and it's a very versatile product because not only is it an eyeshadow, but you can use this for contouring as well. So this baby is definitely staying in my collection. The last drugstore product I have is the NYC Smooth Skin bronzing face powder, and this is in the shade Sunny. This was like probably the first bronzer I ever picked up like when I started getting into makeup, so for that reason I'm gonna keep it. But if it were for me, I honestly would just give this away because I never find myself reaching for this. There are just so many different other drugstore ones and high-end ones that I just find myself using more than this, but for that reason that this was my very first one I purchased, I am gonna be keeping it. This is a very terracotta color. It is tend to be on the orangey color side, so you have to be very careful. For this, the formula on this bronzer is beautiful and it's very lightweight and very creamy. So if you guys end up bumping into NYC, I would just suggest picking it up because it's a great bronzer to have. I just don't reach for it as often as I wish I did, but I'm pretty sure the whole NYC brand is unfortunately being discontinued. So yeah. Alright, so this is the very last like single bronzer I'm going to talk about, and this is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Bronzer in the color Park Avenue Princess. And this was another one that I actually first purchased when I first started getting into makeup, and I love the packaging on this bronzer. It's so pretty, this like cover, and then the inside is just really nice with that print. It comes with a little mirror. It gives you like a radiant all over the face glow. It does have a little bit of like sheen to it. I see a little glitter, but it's not too much. Do love this bronzer. It's a very nice terracotta brownish color. So I'm definitely going to be keeping the Tarte Amazonian Clay. The next things I want to talk about are contour palettes, and I have two powders and one cream. So this is the cream one from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the contour cream kit, and I have mine in the shade Light. The only thing about this cream contour kit is that shades are super drying, so you have to like put like some type of oil, like rub it in and then apply the product, and you have to be very fast with the product because if it dries up then it's super hard to blend. So that's the only bad thing I would say. The colors in here are super perfect for actually doing the job, contouring and highlighting. So for that reason, I am not going to be keeping that. The next thing is the Shade and Light palette from Kat Von D. This is the contour Shade and Light. As you can tell, mine is super worn out because this was like my very first contour palette that I ever owned. So this is like the perfect contour palette for an every skin tone kind of girl. So no matter whether you have like super fair or super dark tan complexion, this palette will work for you because as you can tell, there's so many colors in here. This palette is super blendable. The powders are very buttery, and honestly I would recommend this palette to anyone, any beginner, any professional, anyone, because this is like a holy grail staple in my collection. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this baby. And the last but not least, this is the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Chiseled to Perfection palette. And I remember I got this palette because Beauty by Rosita she actually got sent this palette and she loved it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really great palette because it does come with like your brush, and it does come with 2 contours and 2 highlights. So the only bad thing about this palette is that, first of all, it's very bulky, so I just don't find myself reaching for it as much as I want to because of that. I kind of have to like dig for it, and it's kind of like an inconvenience, but the product in here is really great. So usually I like to use the shade Light Cocoa right here to like set my under eye, and then this is like a nice contour, and then this is a really nice bronzer. This is a highlighter which I've actually don't ever have used because it is like super stark white. That brush in here is really nice. It's perfect to like chisel your cheekbones, and it is really cute, and you can just store it right in there. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be keeping this because it was pretty pricey, and for the concept it's like not a bad thing. If I'm gonna be traveling, I have like everything in here. So yeah, I'm gonna be keeping this one. Alright guys, so that wraps up the decluttering video for my bronzers. I'm actually gonna go ahead and store them and put them back on my vanity, and I'll show you what that looks like once I am done. Alright guys, so this is what my drawer looks like. I have organized them in this little container that I showed you guys, from the like most used in here, and then I have the rest in here, and then I have my contour palettes right back here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this decluttering, let me know by giving it a thumbs up down below. If you guys liked these kind of videos, I'm interested to keep doing them, like doing my foundations and probably like my blushes, because I do have a lot of blushes. I don't know if you guys would be interested in a declutter for blushes and foundations or anything else, brushes, sticks, lip liners. I have a whole bunch. So yeah, let me know guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.